Hi guys, I want to do an activity with you. Okay, so I think for this activity, you're going to probably pause the video a lot and maybe rewatch and make sure you understand exactly what I'm trying to have you do. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper. You know, I'm going to cut mine a little bit so it fits on the screen. But I want you to get a piece of paper that's long like this. I'm using receipt tape, which is why it is curling up on me, but you can use anything. You could even get a few pieces of paper and tape them or staple them or glue them or something together. Okay? So if you need to, pause the video, go get yourself a piece of paper like this. Okay? It doesn't have to look great because this isn't like a wall-worthy type assignment. This is just a hands-on to help you conceptualize fractions. Okay? So take your piece of paper and fold it in half. Okay, fold it directly in half. Make sure you have a nice crease so that you can see it. And then I want you to take a marker and I want you to mark that center crease that you can see as a 0. Okay, we're making a number line. So mark that with 0. All right, so 0. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and as a number line would sit, you're going to mark one side with a positive 1 and one side with a negative 1. Okay, and try to mark it all the way to the edge. We're going to pretend that this edge is 1 and negative 1. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Make sure when you're marking, as I'm marking, that you're putting your positive 1 on the right side and you're putting your negative 1 on your left side. Okay, and just try to mark it as close to the edge as possible. All right, so you have this now. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Let's focus for a second on our 0 to 1 side. Oh, sorry. On our 0 to 1 side. There we go. I put a little plus in case you can't see it. Okay, so 0 to 1. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this piece, this half of your number line, and I want you to fold it in half again. Okay, fold it in half again. Now, if I'm 0 to 1 and I folded it in half again, what number are we going to mark in the center? Okay, so hopefully your brain said 1/2. Okay, so mark 1/2 with me. Now, I want you to kind of put it at the top because we're going to have another fraction underneath it in a second. Okay, so mark your, oops, yeah, 1/2, sorry. Okay, so we have 0 to 1 and now we have 1/2. Okay, I want you to do that on the other side and mark it with negative 1/2. So go to the other side, fold your 0 to negative 1 now in half. So your negative 1 is now kind of touching your 0. And I want you to mark that with negative 1/2. And like I said, hopefully your paper isn't rolling up on you like mine is. Negative 1/2, okay? Now, here's what I want you to think about. Just watch me for 1 second. If I take my paper and I fold it in half, we know we're at 1 and 0. Let me hold that the right way so you can actually see the fraction. Then I want you to fold that in half again. Now we know we're between 1/2 and 1. Well, what happens when I fold that in half again? Okay, so I want you to actually go ahead and do that now. Make a nice crease. Okay, because now we're at 1/2 of 1/2. And in a later video, we're going to talk about the word of. Okay, so remember that. Keep that in the back of your head. So we're folded in half, so it should be about that size. Okay, so open it back up, and I want you to count how many lines we have, how many we have divided between the 0 to the 1. What have we divided that into? Because before it was just half, 2 pieces. Now we've divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Okay, so hopefully your brain is saying we're at 1/4. Okay, so I want you to mark up here. Remember, we're going to keep adding fractions to these lines, so you need to mark them kind of small. So I'm going to add a 1/4. I'm going to add a 2/4, and I'm going to add a 3/4 and a 4/4. Okay, and notice where my fractions line up. So I have from 0 to 1/4. 1/2 and 2/4 are the same thing. That should kind of be obvious now. And if I reduce 2/4, you can see that it's 1/2. And then I have 3/4, and then I have 4/4, which we know 4/4 is really a positive 1. Okay? Go ahead and replicate that on your negative side, please. So starting at the 0, the line to the left of the 0 should be negative 1/4, and then negative 2/4, and then negative 3/4, and negative 4/4, which is still your negative 1. Okay, so if you count from here to here, I have 4. I think you already know what we're going to do next. Okay, take this again, fold it, fold it, fold it again, and one more time. You're going to take what we've made into fourths and make it into what number? That's right, eighths. Okay, and I want you to go all the way across and mark your 1/8, mark your 2/8, mark your 3/8, mark your 4/8. Okay, because if you open this up, now we have from 0 to positive 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. Okay, add your fractions. I'm going to do it with another color so that you can really see it. Like I said, it's not a wall-worthy activity. We're not going to hang these. I just want you to kind of hands-on see what these fractions mean. See why when I am taking half of another fraction, okay, I'm really multiplying. So I'm going to start at my 0, and I'm going to mark these 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, all the way to 8/8, which should be at 1. Okay, so I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Okay, and I want you to see where your fractions line up, where you have certain fractions that when you reduce, they all mean the same thing. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and replicate this on the negative side of your timeline. You're going to have another activity where what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you 3 numbers, or I'm going to assign you 3 numbers, and I want you to figure out how to put those 3 numbers somewhere on your number line. So you have several options. You could convert your numbers into being fourths and figure out where they are in fourths. You convert your numbers to being in eighths and figure out where they are in eighths. You could convert everything to decimals and figure out where it's going to be. Okay, but at your next meeting, I'm going to ask to see this, and I'm going to ask that your EA turns this in to me so I can see that you not only completed the assignment, but that you understand where your fractions go. So one more time, you can take your fractions, you can convert your denominators into all being 2s and halves, and that might tell you where to go. Okay, sorry, on this side. You can convert your denominators to being in 4s, and that might tell us where to go. You can convert your denominators to being into 8s. That might help you tell you where to go. And if you really are struggling with this, convert everything into decimals, and you'll know exactly where your fraction that I give you goes on your number line. Okay, so look how much work we did for just between 1 and -1. All right, I'm excited to see your number lines. Watch this video a couple times if you need to make sense out of it, and I'll see you guys soon.